There exists a forum, beyond that which is known to man. A place that sits between truth and the lies which we choose to believe. A dimension ruled by the shadowy depths of human nature and those who turn a blind eye to it. Submitted for your approval. No sleep. Do not go outside. Ignore all cries for help, no matter how human they sound. Do not go outside. Ignore all cries for help, no matter how human they sound, shouted Alex's dad. He pulled the cellar door over and paused to look back. And lock this door behind me. The door slammed shut. Alex locked it, walked down the stairs, and stood alone in the darkness, moonlight shining through the crack under the door. The basement was freezing cold. She looked around the room. Nothing but junk. Toys from her childhood, broken furniture her dad had refused to throw away, stacks of books and newspapers, and her grandparents' old possessions. She rummaged around and found her grandfather's reclining chair. Well, somewhere to sit at least, she thought. Alex dragged an old bike out of the way and pushed the chair toward the middle of the floor. She searched through a chest of her grandmother's belongings. Inside were a collection of porcelain figurines, some knitting needles, and a hand mirror. Alex picked it up, wiped some dirt away, and looked at her reflection. Over her right shoulder, she saw a blanket and some cushions stashed underneath an old photo album. They stank and were covered in dust. Everything was, but it was better than sitting there freezing. She reclined back on the chair, wrapped the blanket around her, and tried to sleep. Alex was startled awake by something banging against the door. She pulled the blanket up towards her head and sat motionless. The banging stopped. As she was beginning to calm down, there was a gentle knock. Maybe it's just the wind, she told herself. Another knock, this time much louder than the first. There was a knot in the pit of her stomach. She tried to stay calm and told herself over and over it was the wind, but was so unnerved she retreated toward the corner of the basement and climbed behind a glass cabinet. "Hello?" cried a voice. Alex's eyes widened. She crouched even further behind the cabinet. "Hello, is there anybody there? Please, I really need somewhere to hide." The voice was faint. Alex could barely make it out. The knocking became a loud banging. "Please, if anybody's down there, I need help." Alex's mind was racing. Who is this person? Why do they need help? Should I let them in? She thought. Her father's warning echoed in her mind, no matter how human they sound. What did he mean by that? Alex noticed the moonlight shining through the bottom of the door. Maybe if I get close enough, I can see who it is, she thought. She slowly walked to the middle of the room, past the chair, and toward the stairs. Alex was so fixated on the door, she tripped on a pile of books and crashed to the ground, knocking over the bike and a stack of newspapers. The banging stopped. Hello? Is someone there? I can hear someone moving down there. Please, you have to let me in. The voice was much clearer now, but there was something peculiar about it. It sounded cold and emotionless. Neither male or female, nor young or old. Alex moved to the bottom of the stairs and eventually summoned the courage to speak. Hello? Please, hello, yes, you have to help me. Can you let me in? Alex didn't know what to do. The voice sounded desperate, but her dad's warning was clear in her mind. She was too nervous to get any closer. Yes, I'm here, but I'm not going to open the door for you. What? Why? There's something horrible running around out here, and if you don't let me in, it'll get me. I'm in great danger. Please open the door quickly, cried the voice. Alex felt a sense of dread overcome her. What do you mean there's something horrible out there? Who are you? Look, there's no time for that now. I'm in danger now. Why won't you let me in? Why won't you help me? The voice was getting angry. I won't. What? Why? Because my dad warned me not to open the door to anyone. That doesn't make sense. Just let me in, please. The banging against the door started again. What's out there? Why are you in danger? Open this damn door now, the voice growled. The banging stopped and the gentle knocking started again. Alex was so scared she couldn't speak, and she didn't know what she would have said if she could. She didn't want to antagonize whatever it was outside any further. It sounded like they were furious. She looked at the crack beneath the door and had an idea. If I climb the stairs and crouch down, I'll be able to look underneath. She'd maybe be able to see the person outside and what they looked like. She climbed the stairs quietly and crouched down along the door when the knocking stopped. She froze for a moment in uncertainty before laying down and peering out. There was nothing. All she could see was the back garden. She let out a sigh of relief. Maybe they were gone? She turned to walk down the stairs when there was another loud bang against the door. Alex jumped in fright and had to grab the railing to keep herself from falling. "Please, I'm begging you. Let me in." The banging continued. Catching her breath, Alex crouched down to look outside again. She still couldn't see anything. No feet, no legs, no anything. She saw nobody under the door, yet someone was furiously banging against it and begging her to let them in. Alex fought the urge to cry. "Please, I know you're there. I'm in terrible danger. How can you just sit there and not let me in?" Alex faced the door and tried to regain her composure. She had an idea. As the voice continued to plead for help, she crept down the stairs and opened her grandmother's old chest. She grabbed the hand mirror and returned to the door. "Please, please, please," the voice begged as the banging continued. Alex lay flat on her stomach and nervously pushed the mirror toward the door. She tilted and slid it around, trying to see as much as possible. No matter how she tried it, Alex couldn't see anyone. The pace of her breath quickened, and she began to feel a tightness in her chest. "I am not opening this door. Before he left, my dad warned me not to open it for anyone. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you're here. You shout about needing help and being in danger, but you won't explain why. But I told you, and besides, I can't see you underneath the damn door. You're hiding somewhere. I can see the back garden through that slit under the door with my mirror, but I can't see you. If you just want help, then why are you hiding?" She pulled the mirror back and stood up. The voice began to laugh. "Well, you're smart to keep the door shut. Your dad was right to warn you." The voice sounded calmer this time, almost whispering. "What do you mean? Who are you? I wasn't lying before. There is something horrible out here. You're just some maniac trying to scare me," Alex said as she turned and walked down the stairs. "Oh, really? Put your mirror back down and have another look." Reluctantly, with a hand on the rail, Alex crouched down and peered through the crack again. Nothing. Her hand was trembling. "You're still hiding. Closer," the voice said, softly. Alex got down on her front and slid toward the door, straining to see as much as she could in the mirror. She could barely keep her grip. Almost there. Pausing for a moment, Alex took a deep breath and pressed her head as close to the door as she could. Then, sounding as though it were mere inches in front of her, the voice whispered, "Hello." Alex screamed in fright as the mirror was ripped from her hands and pulled away from her. She screamed again and the voice started laughing. There was more banging, faster and with more force than ever. Alex raced back down the stairs. She crouched down behind the chair, stared at the door, and burst into tears. The banging kept getting louder. The cellar door sounded as though it was breaking apart. "I'm not letting you in. Go away. Just go away." Alex collapsed beneath the chair. She was at the point of hysteria. She stood over the chair and took a deep breath. What are you?" The banging stopped. "What difference does that make? You know I'm out here, and you won't let me in." The voice sounded almost amused. "Tell me what you are. It would be much easier to show you. Why not open the door and I can—" "No!" she screamed. "Tell me what you are, and tell me why I can't see you." The voice laughed and started banging on the door again. Alex climbed behind the cabinet, pulled the blanket over her head, and covered her ears with her hands. She rocked back and forth until she was calm enough to lie down. The banging turned into knocking, then got fainter and fainter, then stopped completely. She tried to calm herself down and return her breathing to normal. She lay still for what felt like minutes, or maybe it was hours, in silence, not quite sure whether she was awake or asleep. There was another knock at the door, less violent than before. "Alex! Alex, are you there?" It was her father's voice. She crept out from behind the cabinet, looked at the door, and saw sunlight shining through. "Alex, it's Dad. Alex, are you there? Please, please, God, tell me you're all right." She leapt out from behind the furniture and looked at the stairs. Under the door, she could see the shadow of her dad standing outside. Alex let out a sigh of relief and raced up the stairs. Dad, where were you? There was something outside and it was trying to get to me to open the door. Alex, honey, thank God you're safe. Come open the door. We have to get out of here now. She undid the lock and burst through the door, ready to hug her dad. She let out a cry of relief. Dad, Alex looked around in confusion. She couldn't see her dad anywhere. The garden was empty. Dad? Dad? She was overcome with terror. Alex ran back into the basement, slammed the door shut, and bolted the lock. She shot back down the stairs and stood quivering in the middle of the room. She frantically looked around, making sure she was alone. Some books collapsed from the pile in front of her, and she screamed. Just some books, she thought. She tried to catch her breath. Feeling a sense of unease, Alex climbed back beneath the cabinet and pulled the blanket over her head. There was a gleeful whisper. So nice of you to let me in.